or good afternoon, depending on where you're joining us. I'm Cam Drew with Fenestration Canada, and today we've got a special presentation, a door marketing session, and this is hosted by the Hinged Door Task Group. We've got John Grilly, and I'm going to turn things over to John. Can we get John on the line?
Okay, so welcome everyone to our Door Committee Task Group Tech Talk. Today we're focusing on marketing of exterior hinge doors. This committee that we belong to meets online monthly and was formed just over a year ago to focus on issues impacting the exterior hinge door industry. Harry, JF, and I collectively recognized that FenCan needed to offer more services and expertise to our members who pre-hang exterior doors, along with recruiting new pre-hanger members in order to strengthen our voice when dealing with various governmental agencies. Thus far, our tech talks have successfully focused primarily on certification, codes, and regulations, which are particular to this segment of the fenestration industry. I'm thrilled to say that today we will be focusing on the marketing of doors, which should be very informative and useful. For anyone on this call that's not yet a member of FenCan, we're offering a promo with a 50% discount for your first year of membership. And lastly, if anyone would like to join our committee, we're wide open, we're very inclusive. Please just reach out to Lane, Lee, or a committee member, and we can definitely help you out. Enjoy this Tech Talk session, and over to you, Cam.
Fantastic. Thank you, John. Let's meet our panelists. We have representing the West Coast here from West Tech Doors, we have Massimo Rizzi. Good morning, Massimo.
Good morning.
And we also have currently in Hamilton, Ontario, from Master Tech Doors, we have John Campbell. Good morning, John.
Good morning.
And in the province of Quebec, from Porta Tech Doors, we have Leo Lapointe. Good morning, Leo.
Good morning, sir.
And I do want to make a plug for Leo and JF. They're going to be having this same session en français on November 20th. So if you know of somebody that would benefit from that, we've just sent out the communication for that this morning.
Perfect.
So we've got a handful of topics we want to cover off in the next hour. Now, we want to focus on custom doors because that's a growing part of the industry. But, you know, a lot of today's topics will also be standard doors. But with custom doors, there's always a little bit of added challenges. Let's talk about energy efficiency, getting the labels right for energy efficiency and the NAFS data, especially when it comes to custom doors. And John, I'm going to start with you. The current requirements and testing considerations and communicating performance to customers when you're building that 4 foot wide by 9.5 foot tall door that the customer wants.
For us, it was really because we're mainly focused on the renovation business and really mainly focused on Ontario. Energy Star would really be the only requirement as far as what our customers need and want. The latest Greener Home grant and the 40K loan that has been around for the last few years really has been our major topic. When the Greener Home was announced, at that time we weren't actually Energy Star certified, so we had to jump on that quick, obviously. Shout out to JF for that. He's the first guy I called, obviously, when our partners gave me the call and said, you got to get on this because this is going to be the next few years, and it sounds like it might be even longer than that. So as the industry kind of was slowing, we knew that that was going to be a big part of our customers, our dealers' marketing plan. So once we got all certified, we learned pretty quick actually that a lot of the doors weren't certified, didn't get the loan because of the certain sizing or with the glass you're using or all that kind of stuff. So as I educated myself and our staff, we had to educate obviously our customers and their sales reps as quick as possible. And then luckily with our major partner with Nordic and Verdun, it was very much software based. Once we got all the data, we were able to put that into the software. So at least the sales reps, they had the knowledge, but at the end of the day, they were relying on the software to tell them, this is qualifying or this doesn't, and then they could shift if they had to do a triple glaze glass instead of double glaze, then the software would do that. That loan and the grant is now over with. We're still obviously producing some doors that are going to still get that because they were pre-qualified. But at the end of the day, we're now Energy Star certified, and we're going to continue to label our doors. So.
Okay. Massimo, you do a fair bit of business in the Vancouver area, which has, I believe, the lowest U-value requirements in Canada. Unless there's been some changes in other provinces, how are you facing that challenge?
You're 100% correct, Cam. We have to deal with step codes, which have different U factor requirements depending on the energy consultant. We also have Vancouver City proper, which has always tried to stay a step ahead, and they do look for lower U values at all time. So we're seeing a trend going from double glazed if the front door has IG units in it to triple glaze to meet those standards. But absolutely, that is something that we have to work with on a daily aspect of it.
Now, Leo, out in Quebec, I know from the window manufacturers, you had a fair bit of manufacturers that were going the energy rating path to meet Energy Star, and some that were going the low U value path. Were you straddling both? Is there a side that you've taken for your company?
Mostly both. When it comes to doors, I'm a bit with John Campbell. It's mainly Energy Star our focus. We are following the Canadian Building Code, and we have our stamps on our doors for most things we build. But it's the same challenges that it comes to the IG units mainly. Triple glazing, double low E. Some glass cannot come that way, so you can't even offer Energy Star to your customers. And it's not always clear with the inspectors who are going on site for the new home construction. But I would say 95% of our business is a bit like John's, it's renovation. So we're not faced with those problems as big as most because we're not focused on new home construction. But again, it comes down a lot to who's inspecting on site to really meet the challenges. But we're really focused mainly on Energy Star ratings, and that becomes 100% focused on the glass.
Fantastic. Thank you, Leo. Now, Leo, I'm going to stay with you. Let's talk about custom doors specifically. We're seeing more market demand. And how are you handling the market demand and managing the lead times and the customer expectations? Because we're seeing their expectations changing over the last couple of years.
Well, this is easy for us because for 41 years, we've been always custom doors. It's our main focus. The only thing we manufacture is doors, hinged doors, exterior. That being said, our focus is 100% on doors for 41 years and to be different than the competition. It's been our pride the whole time. So bringing marketing is always through, of course, the almighty internet, YouTube videos, whether it be putting things on Instagram, and now we're being focused on different types of videos, whether it be professional, funnier videos, and now we're on TikTok. So we're always meeting a new challenge when it comes to marketing. It changes every month. But because our doors have always been extremely made to measure, made to design, the transition has been easy for us because for us to switch models has always been part of our game. Every year we come up with new models, new sizes. Our focus has always been that. Now the challenge is always keeping up with the new marketing flows. Like TikTok has now been suggested to us. That was something new for us. So we're doing TikTok videos. The fact that we sell in Ontario, Quebec, Alberta, Manitoba, and Saskatchewan, well, it's even harder, right? I got to go and focus on what's strong in Alberta, what works in Ontario, and what works in Quebec for argument's sake. And in Quebec, we're very European inspired. So we try to keep the focus on videos, pictures, being a bit everywhere on all platforms, switching it up every month, and not keeping our focus on the same platform on a yearly basis. So really every month, change where your focus is, change your videos around, put a bit of funny in there, keep it professional, keep your clients awake when they're watching you and not bored, even though it's a door. And again, I don't want to repeat myself, but the custom area of our company has been our main focus for 41 years.
And we will get into marketing strategies, a little deeper dive there, and we'll probably open up the AI door while we're there in just a little bit in today's presentation. Massimo with custom doors, market demand, managing lead times. How's that with West Tech?
Yeah, like Leo mentioned, that's exactly what we specialize is custom doors. But our primary market is new construction, high-end custom homes. What we primarily have with our customers, they'll come in, they'll even draw something out, and from there we put it on CADs and produce it. But that's all we handle is customized doors. Very rarely is it something that's typically off the shelf. So we use flush slabs and create whatever design they like or cutouts for glazing. And everything's pretty much customized. And it requires a lot of managing the customer's expectations and really consulting for a solution. Because as you're bringing up, we're talking about people seeing jobs in California or Australia where they have these super large doors. Well, we're on the wet coast. We're doing stuff along the coast on the islands. So we really have to consult and find out solutions that's going to work for the customer too. So it's a lot of work. It can be fun, but it just requires a lot of consulting.
Let me ask you a question, then I will go back to Leo and I'll ask John the same question. Is 7 foot going to be the new standard height of doors?
Well, you mean more 8 and 9 feet. 7 feet is the standard, right? So
Well,
it's more 8 feet, right?
6'8" is the biggest standard, at least where in BC.
Okay.
But we were seeing more 7 foot standard. Well,
I would say in
selection.
Quebec, if we look at Quebec, it's more 8 feet is more the standard. I mean, the 6'8" is still the everyday volume door.
Yes.
But when it comes to us, because we're already designer doors, 8 feet is more of a standard. 9 feet is in high demand, and 10 feet is coming in. We're seeing it in the patio doors, right? Patio door people are getting there, are there. Europe, it's been years they're there. So there's a lot of importation. And a bit like Massimo said, managing customer expectations is always going to be hard. Even if you already make a fabulous product, their expectations are extremely high now, right? And in Quebec, we're not the best negotiators, but we know what we want. So when you're delivering a door in Quebec, it better be bang on. And again, for lead times, it becomes a problem for a company who the made to measure or to made to design is not a big part of their business. The lead time becomes very heavy. We get doors out under 8 weeks. So it's part of our business for a long time.
Yeah, and
Massimo, heights?
For us, like to Leo's point, for us, standard is if I see something smaller than 3'6" by 8 foot, I'm shocked. To see a 6'8" door come out of our production is very rare. So right now, the biggest requests are definitely 4x9 or even 5x10 requests in slabs for front entry doors.
What are we building? Castles? John, how about you? What are you seeing?
Yeah, we're somewhere in between that. Like as far as we consider ourselves the custom door manufacturer, we still do a lot of 6'8" doors. But the demand is certainly the bigger doors. It's in the last 5 years or so is wider, taller, and the simpler doors. The big challenge with us is that we're relying on our suppliers, like Novatech being our main supplier. So what they have, we have to take and make into something maybe a little bit different. Fill the hole and fill what that homeowners need and want is. And like you mentioned, they're looking at pictures on whatever Instagram that's in California or wherever in the world, and then they say to the sales rep, "Well, I want this." Our sales reps, our customers have to kind of deal with those wants and needs. Take our standard Novatech 42-inch, and they only make a flush 42-inch 8-foot slab, and we have to come up with something that suits their kind of need, want really more so. and with that, the lead time expectation is always a challenge, right? We're relying on our supplier again for that custom stuff that we might just be ordering onesies and twosies of a certain door slab or huge large glass, and then we're a lot of times not starting or can't start the production stages until we get that stuff in, and you get halfway down the line and all of a sudden you figure out the glass was wrong or it's scratched or the slab is, and you have to kind of scramble to get from our supplier that product that we don't stock. I definitely envy the Leo and Massimo and the just custom stuff in certain aspects. But yeah, we're a little bit more reliant on our suppliers, and we've always focused on the communication side of things. If something comes up, if there is a delay, then we want to let our customer know as soon as possible, so they can let the homeowner know, because really the major complaints generally come from a homeowner that's not being communicated to. You know, if they get a call and say, hey, this is what's happened, there's a delay, then generally they're understanding. It's when they're calling 4 weeks after the expected delivery date and that they're yelling and screaming. So
Sure.
that's kind of where we're at.
Well, let's
It's too bad because we get all our glass in perfect all the time.
Send me your
I'll give you
contacts.
my supplier's name.
Yeah, Leo's supplier is Peter Pan. All right.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist. So this segues now into industry trends. We've talked about the bigger sizes. So that would be the design preferences. How about technology, materials, shifts in consumer behavior and regional variations? Massimo, what are you seeing?
Again, British Columbia, right, the wet coast. One of the biggest changes we've seen is going from wood doors, which I'm sure we all love the wood, but because of the moisture content, we're on the oceans and stuff like that. It's really moved a lot to fiberglass, and with fiberglass, the technology now, if you were to look at it side by side, very similar in looks. It looks amazing, and even our frames. 95% of our jams are composite frames instead of wood or metal clad. So that's a big trend change. Again, still asking for large sizes. We also see it's moved away from raised panels. Everything is more contemporary for us, very sleek looking. And also, if it's a full light door, minimizing the stiles and rails to get more glass. So it's ever evolving, but for us, the custom fiberglass market has really, really changed, and that's what most of our work is right now.
Leo, how about you out there?
In the 5 provinces that we sell in, there's something that maintains itself for us, and the design preferences for us since 2014 has been modern. Everything that's modern, urban, is been 85% of our business. Absolutely. So the trend hasn't yet changed for us in the volume of what we do. I'm starting to see some more classic colonial stuff come out in 2025, but it's entering in slowly. Technology-wise, the industry is more and more demanding, right? Greener homes is one of the reasons, and what the government's pushing. So that's been a challenge when it comes to doors. I think windows and patio doors, for the most part, they meet all requirements for the most part. Now, I know Massimo lives a different world in BC, and that's why we're not in BC, because it's so strict. We don't think we can, and we do a lot of steel and we do a lot of wood. When it comes to us, wood is big for us. So again, what Massimo was saying, I don't think it'd be a good fit, nor steel nor wood in BC for the most part. Let's say Vancouver. Materials for us, again, huge with wood. People, for our clients, want things exactly what John said before. Pictures from California, pictures from Europe. The client has no clue where they're seeing it from, and they want us to duplicate it. Well, we can do it, but à la Portatech, like we say in French. So we'll do it in our way. We will listen, we'll design it. So that's a huge trend, design-wise. Technology, there's our challenges, and materials for us, it's steel and wood. Shifts in consumers' behavior. Where do I start? I've been doing this for 35 years, the retail business. I've never seen consumers' behavior be so bad. Like it's really hard to satisfy the consumer today. It's really, really hard. Their expectations are extremely high, and even if you really truly believe that you're delivering the door, there's always something. There's always a little something. So the shift in consumer behavior has been major since COVID. I'm not blaming it on COVID, but it's since then that people are very demanding. And I don't know if it's like that in every province, but we're very, very big in Ontario and Quebec with all those provinces, and it's pretty much the same in both areas. So that's what we're seeing.
Yeah. And I don't think it's going to change. I don't think it's going to relax at all.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some regional challenges. Leo, you just touched on them. Massimo, you do business down into the States as well. Let's consider that as a region. Is that a challenge for you now?
Yeah, we do quite a bit of work in Washington. We do have two showrooms down there. Very similar challenges. Again, you're up on the coast, but again, in Washington, they're not quite as strict as they are in British Columbia and especially in Vancouver City proper. But as far as everything is pretty closely aligned with what they're looking for, customization and all those things. They're just not as strict with U factors. They're just now starting on the rain screen system and details, which we did that in the mid 90s in BC. So very similar. They're just not as strict down in Washington.
All right. So I think we covered off a lot of the other regional challenges and logistical barriers. What I wanted to talk now about is the difference from the B2B versus B2C markets, your business to business versus your business to consumer markets. What considerations you have in differentiating the message and channels. Now, John, I think you've said most of your business is already business to business. But Leo, I believe you said that you've got a split, and also Massimo. So Leo, I'm going to ask you first. How do you change your message? Do you differentiate your message from B2B to B to C?
No, you want to maintain the same message so it's coherent together. The problem is how it's given to the B2B and then given to the B2C. That's the challenge we have. We maintain our focus with everything I say to Mrs. Jones locally, I say to my dealers, right? I bring that experience to them. So the challenge we had is what we're teaching them, how are they getting that message to their client? And that was our biggest challenge, and it remains our biggest challenge. So how we're trying to correct that, and I believe we're getting there, is through videos. So every quote we give to our B2B comes with pictures and a video every time. And we're saying, bring this to your clients, bring this message to your client. So when they get the product, they get what they know they're getting and not what they think they're getting. So that's been a challenge in the past. We're trying to correct it. There's no perfect way, but I would say to your question, keep your focus the same on both sides. Don't mix them.
Massimo, do you echo that?
Like 100%. That was very well said, what Leo said.
Well, thank you.
Great idea.
That's why we've got him.
And a great idea on the pictures and videos. He's spot on. Message is the same, but it's getting it to that end consumer. So I love that. Great. And I really appreciate that. But said it 100% perfect.
Now, is there not any pushback from your B2B customers when your B2C marketing is saying, come deal with us direct? We will sell to you direct. How do you handle that?
I would say the key word is transparency. So the day that we started in 2015 to sell direct locally, at the beginning, we started very small. When we saw what was coming very quickly, because as we know, the internet changed the world many, many years ago and how people shop. In Quebec, just so you guys know, the ones that are outside Quebec, I would say 95% of window and door manufacturers in Quebec, somehow, some way, they sell direct. So the ones who don't sell at all direct, they will be. You won't have a choice, okay? So transparency. You sit down with your dealers, your distributors, whoever your clients are on the B2B side, and you tell them where your focus is going to be and why, and this is how you're going to protect them. So again, I don't want to repeat, but transparency is key, right? And it all depends, of course, of the volume of your dealers, right? The volume they're giving you, the loyalty they're giving you, how you're treated, how they pay you, and all these things mixed up that they become an A client. Well, you sit down with those key clients and you say what your plan is. Uh, Now you got to be ready to lose some, right? You're going to lose some for sure, and you got to be ready for that. And you got to replace it with the B2C money, right? Because it's not the same thing. So I'd say to mainly answer your question is transparency, sit down with your people and get ready to lose some clients sometimes. Yeah.
All right, Massimo, anything you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, again, Leo's spot on. Transparency, you have to have it. Sometimes people are scared to be transparent, but be transparent up front. For us, we've always been selling to the consumer direct. We have started doing it through dealers. One thing we will do is only set up those dealerships away from anywhere where our teams sell direct. So, and we're very conscious about not having too many dealers in the same area also. So I like to be fair to the dealers and dealers be fair to us. And we feel that's a great plan, the way it's been working so far. So we're going to keep doing that.
And
Okay,
if I
so-
may add in, Massimo said it perfectly, which is something I forgot to say. I don't go and sell where my dealers are.
Got
They
it.
have a protected area. It's something that I took for granted without saying, but Massimo said it perfectly. You protect your dealers at all times. And some of these dealers, I'm sure, like as you, Massimo, have been focused and supporting us for 30 years. So without a doubt, you protect territory. Absolutely.
Okay. I can speak from personal experience. So we were able to work in some markets with B2B and B2C situations. We had some resellers in our area, and we didn't think it would work, but we were able to work together. Let's now move to marketing strategies. How are we going to tell our story? As Terry O'Reilly says, you've got to be in social media, but you've got to be interesting. John, I want to start with you. Anything that you're doing in your marketing strategies, or what are you doing to send the message out on behalf of your company?
We've always been on the website side of things, just keeping that updated, keeping, the latest brochures or the latest what we offer on there. Recently, it's just supporting our dealers with what they need. They're the ones that are doing the social media engagement. They've asked for some technical kind of videos. We've filmed some just component door talk sort of thing, all that good stuff. And then just supporting them on the showrooms. Showrooms are very important. The one thing I'm kind of pressuring some of our suppliers, because you go to the Windor show or you go meet a group of them and they're asking, oh, can you order those showroom, this is how you order it and you get a discount and all that kind of stuff. And like, it's a lot of times I don't have enough time in the day to focus on that kind of stuff. Like, here's where the showrooms are. You go talk to our dealers, and I know there's certain guys that are better than other guys with it, but I think that's a important thing for maybe some of our suppliers, that they have the door, they have the glass, and there's always a delay in a new glass being offered, like a new decorative glass, and it takes a year or two for them to really even see sales. But it's like, well, you can go as soon as you put that in the showroom and you do all the work, then that's gonna sell. So that's one of the challenges I'm sure that everyone kind of runs into, but I try to push it onto our suppliers to help fix the lack of showroom new stuff anyways. But at the end of the day, we have to support our dealers on the showrooms and any trade show stuff that they need. Then it's all unique, right? It's different guys want different things, but it's we try to support them as best as possible.
And Master Tech in-house or outsourced marketing?
Again, with our partner Nordic and Verdun, they do all of their marketing in-house. So since we've made that partnership, it's all in-house.
Okay. Massimo, social media engagement, in-house versus outsourced marketing, role of showrooms, trade shows, and online presence. Let's cover it all.
Yeah, that's one thing where we definitely had to get better at and started doing that. So we've outsourced our marketing professional company out of back east, Ontario. Social media is a big place where consumers go to, of course. So we've gotten a lot better on that. Showrooms for us, they're a must. Like the customer has to come into the showroom to see the value. So that's embedded into our team to bring customers in there. So that's a big thing for us. Trade shows, finally went back into a trade show at the Vancouver show just recently. We've been out of them. Of course, we know the COVID, but even prior to that, they were kind of going downhill. It seemed to have really changed, and that's been good for us. And definitely having an online presence, and even what Leo was saying before, is you have to have your material interesting. It's got to capture, it's got to get their attention, and focus to what we have. So definitely something that we've worked on and are definitely getting better on.
So let me ask you quickly about your trade show, because it's always been told to me that you should strive to be one of the top three. If you interviewed everybody living a trade show and asked them which were the three booths that you remember, because they could probably only remember three, and you want to be one of those three, what are you doing to be in the top three of booths at a trade show?
That's interesting comment. A few years ago, we spent over $100 and some odd thousand to go into the Buildex, and we didn't seem to get much out of it. This one, because we went into for the first time, we want to source it out. We rented a stand-up booth that was set up for us, and we kept it really simple. Oddly enough, a lot more interest out of that. So a lot of it comes down to the consulting that's being done. So again, for us, very first time we've been back to a trade show in quite a few years. Time will tell. It really just seemed that the trade show this time had more building material. It was more building material oriented, where in the past they were kind of getting away from it. So it's something that we're going to definitely push harder into again.
Okay, Leo, how about you? Marketing strategies.
Okay, so first thing, online presence is a must, right? You never stop. Like I said before, you interact, change things on a monthly basis and not on a trimester or a yearly basis. We outsource the marketing. We do a little bit inside, but we follow it intensely. So my partner in crime follows it, and you gotta follow it, because if you don't follow it, they lose interest in you, whatever company you use. The biggest message I can give you is what they do good today may not be good tomorrow. So you really gotta see when your leads go down. But our biggest strength is, because we sell direct, we bring what works to our B2B. And sometimes I even bring them who we use, because marketing companies can go around Canada. They don't have to be local, as we know, right?
Yeah.
So social media is huge. I'll say it again: change things up, mix things up, be interesting. Use the right people inside your company, or outsource it, but have someone that's alive, that can bring humor to your company without embarrassing it. Roles of showrooms, unfortunately, I'm going to say I'm the opposite. I would say 80% of our business, B2B, is done over the phone, emails, videos, and pictures. That's 80%. And I'm bringing that philosophy to our biggest dealers, and they're loving it. The amount of money they're saving on gas and vehicles and time in traffic, because I don't know about you guys, but Montreal is something when it comes to traffic. So you got to focus on how much time you got to put per client, right, to make money. And this traffic and gas, so where our main focus is no longer showing. I'm not saying that they're irrelevant. I'm just saying our focus is not there. If I had a choice between putting 100 grand in a showroom or put 100 grand on social media and online presence, that's where we would put it. So that's the philosophy I bring to our B2B as well. However, trade shows I've seen has picked up in the past couple of years. People are starting to do them again. They're asking for some samples of doors. So I find that interesting. And what we do is we go with our B2B. I'll be there, right? So I'll be there to coach them through the product, coach them through the process. If someone comes in their booth for a door, well, here's the manufacturer. So I think support is key. Support is key on everything, is support your B2B.
Great. And I just want to let all participants know. Oh, Terry, you had a question? Go right ahead.
Yeah, I just want to jump in on that. I'm not a marketing guy, as you know, but I have to support what Leo just said. I spend a lot of time looking at our members' websites, as well as non-members, industry players, and the number of poor websites out there that are out of date and hard to navigate. today's world, everybody's online looking for what they're going to purchase. So, having a great website, keeping it up to date, keeping it relevant, I mean, that's really key. And also from the marketing perspective, sit down and talk to your technical people before you market something. Nothing worse than marketing coming to the technical people to ask for a product and, it's nowhere near being ready. So that's a key one as well. So just thought I'd jump in on that. I thought that was a great
If I can
point
add
about-
one last thing, Cam, is
Sure.
if you're going to start being strong in your marketing, your first focus above all is your website, right? You can't do anything else after that if your website is not relevant in 2025. It's your key, right? And I'll give you guys one small example to encourage you, and I'm not going to name any names, of course, but one of my biggest dealers was against everything I was proposing marketing wise for years. I finally convinced them 2025, and they could not be happier because the request is coming in for a designer door. They don't have to upgrade. If anything, they have to downgrade. So they just regret not doing it sooner. And trust me, they're not downtown Toronto or downtown Montreal or Vancouver. They're in no man's land, and it's working out great for them. So it truly works in all venues and all markets.
Well, I think everybody would agree in this day and age, communication is key, and inspiration is also very important and can be extremely engaging to customers. Excuse me. We are going to open up for questions and comments. Just a couple more topics we want to cover off. The impact of tariffs, we had a chance to chat earlier. It doesn't really seem to be impacting anybody, so we can move on. Installation issues and common challenges and quality assurance. John, I'll start with you. As we all know in this industry, especially with doors, every door gets installed perfectly. There's never a callback, never a problem. So we should just be able to breeze right through this. John, any problems ever? Especially in renovation, it's easy.
Yeah, that's been. I mean, I've been doing this for 20 years now, and that's just a regular thing. Every week, some new question or some new challenge installation thing. We've always been focused on communicating with the installers. We love, luckily, here a lot of the doors go out of this location that we share, so we can actually talk to the installers and tell them little tricks, or they might have something. And it's the best feedback too, right? Is like, we got a new component of some sort, and as far as the tests and everything go, it looks perfect. But when it's actually in the field, we don't know. So the installers are the best for letting us know, and that initial feedback of all that kind of stuff. And then just the quality assurance, again, it goes from the installers to the install managers, or to the managers in general, and then it comes to us. So we're always focused on making sure that the doors as easy to install as possible, and they generally let us know pretty quickly if there's issues. So we tend to always have our ear to the ground with that kind of stuff, and try to improve wherever we possibly can.
Okay, Massimo, how about you? How are you getting ahead of this?
Well, you've just now touched one of my biggest pain points, is installation. You could have the best product in the world, but if it's not installed properly for the end consumer, it's always problematic. Especially with customized products, and especially nowadays, it's not just about plumbing level. So we highly recommend, again, we're business to consumer, our third-party certified installers to do the install, because when it's done properly, everybody's happy. In fact, I just finished dealing with a big issues that all the doors were no good, and then we had our guy go back, take them out and reinstall them, and they're perfect. So big thing for us is have professional installers. Don't just leave it up to the framers to install. Things have to be installed properly. So even with our third-party installers, what we have to do is on a continual basis is do training. So you bring them in, training, you go over things, and so that we have confidence in them when they're dealing with the end consumer, that it gets installed properly. But yeah, definitely a big pain point.
Okay, Leo, any troubles ever with installation?
Never. But
Thank you.
John and Massimo said it quite perfectly. But I like what John said too, is communication, and feedback. If you're constantly in communication, let's start with the B2B because we don't have the men installing it, like Massimo just said. Communication and feedback. I can't stress that enough. Bring them the info. Sometimes what happens is you have the same dealer for 10 years and you take everything for granted, but they may have changed installers 7 times in those 10 years. So the communication has got to be constant. Videos, pictures, constant, feed them. Whether they feel insulted or not, you tell them, I'm just here to support you. You got to do it in a way without insulting anybody because they both said very well, it's a touch and go when you're dealing with installers, right? And especially the ones that have been doing it for over 10 years, they think they're doing everything right. So when it comes to the B2B, communication and feedback is the key in that. And quality insurance, well, is inspection. When you're done your installation, you do a round. So you'll have to have an inspection sheet. And that's got to be done with your head installer and the person who pays you. That's very important for the quality assurance.
Hey, quick question for Leo and the rest on the panel is, it's one thing to install it properly, but how about delivering it properly, packaging it properly with all these big doors? I mean, you've got systems now, you have to site glaze some. I mean, that must be a huge challenge for all of you with, bigger is not necessarily better in terms of that as well, because that affects your quality assurance too, right?
Well, as far as we're concerned, when we deliver B2B, it leaves on skids and it's packaged really well. That part's done. Don't worry, we've had our headaches and our damages, and then you learn through your headaches and damages and you repackage. So in other words, I'm sorry to use this, but you got to make it idiot proof, your packaging for the transport companies. You don't have a choice. So we've learned that and gotten better over the years. That's the B2B. The B2C is more challenging because it's going on to sites. It's going on if you don't have the cranes and the proper tooling on site and the forklifts. It's a challenge. If I may, if ever you guys want a company that I use here in Quebec that does Canadian wide, he has European machinery that I call it the spider, but it picks up stuff with suction cups and it's remote controlled. And you remote control this thing on people's lawns and it brings your products up. So the packaging's been a challenge, but especially on the B2C side, on-site delivery, it remains a challenge. And we're at Portatech, we're ongoing looking into it, what we can do better tomorrow.
Fantastic. I've got some questions that have been typed in from Patrick Flannery, and please do the same to any of the participants. This is now, we've got other topics like shipping concerns and surplus management, but let's go to the attendees now. And Patrick said at the last IBS show, they had 12-foot and 16-foot doors. What warnings do we give customers who want to have something this size? Massimo, we'll start with you.
Well, first of all, thankfully we do have a great technical department, so we run everything past them. And we just have to give them a heads up. Something might not be NAFS compliant, or we have to consult with them. Their location, again, you know the island quite well, Cam. Doing a job like that in Tofino, not very wise. So you have to consult, and I always go back to managing the customer's expectations. And there's things that you can come up with solutions that you can do, breaking things up, adding transoms and side lights and all that. But big thing is consulting and managing customers' expectations and letting them know when something may not be compliant and get the inspectors go ahead on that. Just sign
John,
up.
Right. John, you probably don't see anything in that size and mostly being in the renovation, but you probably have some widths that you're having to work with and spans.
Yeah, the demand is definitely more and more, and it's mostly with glass. Like I said, the door slabs, you can only go so big with our suppliers, but yeah, we're seeing massive side lights and massive transoms, and yeah, it's very, very challenging. It's sometimes a software program will tell you that it can be made, but it should be made is a whole different thing. So that's where the communication and conversations with the sales reps and the dealers is always the right way to go, and make sure that we're on the same page of what they're asking for and what they're expecting to get.
Right. Terry, I see that you wanted to also answer that question as well. Do you still want to interject? Terry Adamson, Technical Director. Okay. Leo, regarding the
I think the two guys said it perfectly. Honestly, it's just managing expectations and telling them you can go that size, but make sure it passes all the tests for the Canadian Building Code or Energy Star efficiency, because a lot of people now are buying through a look and not a technical aspect, right? So we're seeing bigger and bigger and bigger, and then most of this stuff has not been tested. And then when there's an issue, the client's like, "I don't get it. Why is there an issue?" So if it's said properly at the beginning, and then they choose to buy anyways, it's on them, and then it's easier said than done anyways. But I think transparency and communication, telling the clients what they're going to get, and just be careful, because if it's not tested, you may come into some issues. And if I can add a classic example, I'm sure everyone has seen, they want doors without sills because they've seen it in California. And I say, well, good luck, but you're going to have the snow right in your living room. So, I mean, there's things that the expectations are high from a look standpoint.
Patrick also asked, anyone looked at embodied carbon in door products? If government regulates, will that force you to change? Is that something, Leo, that
No,
Not
none on
yet?
my end.
okay,
I have no
Massimo,
experience with that.
is that in any of your conversations?
Not on my end. It might be something that Kyle's dealing with in our technical department, but no, it's not come down to me yet.
Okay. Tom Humphrey from Novatech had a more of a comment. He says, though we see great sales of designer and shakers for contemporary styles, Novatech still manufactures tens of thousands of 6-panel doors yearly. And he says that it shocks him, but it is still the meat and potatoes. But I know today's conversation is more about the custom doors, where you're going to find the larger sizes and the more modern size. Adrian Edge sent in, great presentation. All this item is something the door world shares with the rest of the fenestration space. It's one of the few spaces in our world that has limited regulatory requirements. Is there anything you all would like to see within the minimum expectations, either at the code side or improved specifications, that would help decrease these headaches for you without creating unnecessary regulatory burden? Anything you'd like to see?
Good question.
Yeah. I would think more on the install side. I know that's not really what she's asking, but the like I'm sure we've all had the conversation of like a certified installer of windows and doors. It's a great living, right? There's really good window and door installers that have a long lasting career, but there's no trade school really that's focused on that. There's no red seal or anything that I know of anyway.
And that was Adrian's, actually was specific to install. So,
Okay.
yeah. Okay, great. Mike Kumerle, and Mike, if I mispronounced your last name, apologies. How many pre-hangers are getting their doors thermally tested so their products are able to participate in provincial municipal rebate programs? As a small pre-hanger, this is a very expensive testing program. Any thoughts? I'll start with you, John.
I would assume that falls under the Energy Star
Yes.
testing. So yeah, we definitely had that struggle, and 15 years ago, I want to say, we got Energy Star certified, and it was a big percentage of our like marketing budget, being a much smaller company at that time. And at that time, also my dad was part owner, and he every year we'd get that bill, and he'd sign the check, and he'd be like, "What is this going towards? Why are we spending this money? Like, is anyone asking for this?" It's like, well, these government grants, you definitely need to do it, and that's what. Fast forward to a few years ago, that's what made us get into the Energy Star again, and it is even more expensive because there's a portion of it that's, I think, how big you are, what your yearly revenue is. But it was, yeah, I definitely understand that, and it's still at this size is still kind of a head scratcher sometimes. Now that there's no more grants, it's like, is it completely worth it? We feel like it is. We've decided for sure that it makes sense to have those ratings and that label and that marketing side of things. And I'm sure there's going to be another government grant around the corner. So.
Massimo, it's probably no small line item, though, the cost of testing and staying current.
No, absolutely not. And in BC, we definitely have to test thermally and other tests. So it's not just even the money, it's the time to be spent by our technical department, being in the labs. And as you're getting bigger and testing different products, because there's so many different products you have to test, yeah, it's a big cost and a lot of time on that for sure, 100%.
But Leo, I guess it's just part of business. Is that how you approach it?
Yes, and if I can help them out, you start with your volume product. When you're a smaller company that can't afford to get everything tested, start with your volume products. And then as you build, because you don't have a choice eventually to test everything, right? Because of these grants and what people read and what they see. And if you, God forbid, told them you weren't Energy Star, they automatically assume your product's no good. So you don't have a choice, but if I had to give them a helping hand when it comes to finances, start with your volume product and build your way up.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but would a small door hanger not be able to purchase a complete tested program from a supplier and then produce that full package and use those? No. Okay.
No,
They
well,
have to
yes,
piggyback.
yes, you use components from suppliers who've been tested, but for in our safe, I'm not sure about down in Vancouver, but I'm sure John faces the same thing. We will offer ODL glass, Trimlite glass, Novatec glass, Veriselect glass. Well, you got to be tested with all these four companies. And if you make a wood door and a steel panel and a fiberglass door that come from three different suppliers, well, you got to be tested with each components, which each glass company. So it becomes 1,000 different recipes to get tested.
All right, John.
Yeah, we went through that exact thing. You know, is at that time I think Novatec was our focus really because it seemed easier to piggyback. And I know ODL and Trimlight, they had the test stuff too, but just to get it done quickly because we were thinking and we were getting that demand from our customer that we're losing sales here. So we called JF and he held their hand through the whole process, and that was the best way for us to get it done.
Great. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much. Attendees, thank you all for joining us here today. This has been, was there anything else from our panelists that you felt we didn't cover that you wanted to share with some of the other folks on the attendees here today?
Not on my side.
We sure
No.
covered a lot. So I
Yeah.
would like to thank John Campbell, Massimo Rizzi, and also Leo Lapointe for joining us. Now, JF Kovacsek will be hosting this same session en français on November 20th. The communication just went out this morning. So if you found that that would be more suited for you, or if you know of somebody that would like to join, please pass that along. John Grilly, was there anything from the Hinged Door group that you'd like to
No,
share
thank,
it?
no, thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. Thanks, panelists. And yeah, there's strength in numbers. So get the word out to join this committee if you feel like joining it, or join our Fenestration Canada brethren.
Good. This
Yeah, just to
this
follow
out.
that, Cam, just the more the merrier in those group calls, the door committee. So if you're not getting those invites, please reach out to John, myself, or Lee, and we'll make sure that you're invited. And if you know other pre-hanger door manufacturers, let us know and we'll reach out to them.
Fantastic. This hour has been recorded. We will be posting it as well for anybody that you know that wanted to be here today and that wasn't able to. Thanks again to our panelists and for everybody that's attended. I'm Cam Drew from Fenestration Canada. Enjoy the rest of your day.